Damn. So I must say that Traumatika was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be that scary, right? I had just saw The Conjuring's The Last Rites. Wasn't really a fan of the last few Conjuring movies, and most of the other horror stuff that has been out, minus Weapons, has been, very lackluster. And of course, this trailer did the finest of sins trying to have, people in the theater, like showing their reactions and they're just freaking out and everything. I mean, it had that. And whenever trailers have that, I just know it's not going to be good. I know it's not going to be scary, but I figured, you know what? Let me take a look, see how it is. Apparently, it's done by this director, Pierre Tsigaridis. He's this French director. He's only done 2 films. I'm going to have to see the first film. But damn, Traumatika really was fantastic. I mean, it actually got me a few times, had me jump at those jump scares. But overall, it was an actual really cool movie. It kind of bounces, back and forth here and there. And a lot of people said that they felt like the movie wasn't sure what it wanted to be, and they were comparing it to like a found footage film. It definitely wouldn't be a found footage film, though it does have the shaky cam first person point of view style of directing, which I thought was cool because it only follows that suit when it's through the point of view of children. So it's actually a little scarier, and it makes you feel like this slight sense of dread of knowing that these curious kids are going to meet their end, whereas an adult would probably make a better decision. But so Traumatika was awesome, right? It follows this father who ends up recovering this artifact for a friend that ends up, of course, having a demon inside of it, and he ends up letting the demon loose. The demon then possesses him, has him do horrible things to his daughter. He has these 2 daughters, and he just does horrible things to this one daughter who has a cleft lip. So she's already having some anxiety going on because of the way she looks. Doesn't make it any better, the fact that the dad's like now, just doing some demonic stuff to her. The demon ends up transferring, right, from the father to the daughter because the whole point of the demon is it loves messing around with kids. So now she has this demon in her and she leaves. The father ends up committing suicide because he remembers and is able to see all these horrible things that he did to his daughter. And as she leaves, she then goes upon her quest to fulfill the demon's desires by kidnapping young kids for it to feed on. And she only agrees to do it because it says, if you don't help me, I'm going to go and, hurt your younger sister, because she has this younger sister, Alice. So the whole film, it pretty much takes place when she ends up kidnapping this young boy, Mikey, and Mikey is pretty much trapped. He can't leave, he's got this crazy demonic woman chasing him around, taunting him around, but it's almost time to kill him. She's done it to countless other kids already, and now it's his turn, but he ends up finding a phone, is able to call 911 and gets the sheriff to come over. The sheriff comes by and ends up trying to reason with this woman who starts acting crazy, and of course, he says he's gonna fucking shoot her, doesn't shoot her. I would have shot her. There's multiple times where I would have just I would have unloaded on this chick, and she ends up eating his face later, so fast forwards to the future, right? And Alice, the daughter of Abigail, who is the daughter that ended up being possessed, she is now this horror writer, this author of this book about her sister, because they end up finding out that her sister was the one that killed these kids, but they don't believe that she was possessed, right? She believes she was possessed. She knows her sister could never do anything like that. Her sister had called her a couple times. They show like one of the phone calls, when they bounce back to the past, and the Abigail's trying to talk to her, saying that like things aren't right, I can't come home. It terrifies Alice, but as she gets older, she knows that it wasn't her fault, right? So she has this book. She's on this random supernatural talk show, right? And they're like discussing her book and what her thoughts are about it. And then it shows back in the home that Abigail had found. She ended up committing suicide to try to save Mikey from this demon, and in turn the demon was able to possess Mikey before she killed herself. So now Mikey's been living with this demon, right? So Mikey's watching on the TV Alice talk about him, and he's able to kind of like break free from the hold of the demon, I guess you would say, and ends up trying to come and find her to make her be like his new mom, someone that will care for him and keep him away from this demon. And it's so wild because he ends up finding her, and he ends up killing like her boyfriend. He ends up like going to the studio where she filmed that segment at, and ends up killing everybody at the studio. Like he's like this psychotic character now, but he really was good natured. It's just this demon, and so she ends up killing him, in the end, and ends up having the talk show host, actually this older lady, this talk show host help her. And it is pretty wild, but you wonder, like, is the demon still out there? Did it escape into one of them? Were they able to kill it because they killed its host before it was able to transfer into another body, But it was just awesome. Like, all the jump scares were good. It was a pretty straightforward story. Like I said, it did bounce back, but the way it started with Abigail already kidnapping Mikey was very cool. I thought all the point of view stuff was very cool. It kind of reminded me of Skinamarink, that movie with the two kids from their perspective in a house that has like a poltergeist or like a evil presence in a house. It kind of reminded me of that. So I liked it. I genuinely thought it was scary. It was way better than The Conjuring. A lot of the scenes when it shows Abigail all freaking demonic and chasing the kids through the house, or when she chases Mikey through the house, it's absolutely terrifying. And then later when she kidnaps this kid at the park, it's also very sad because you're like, don't go in there, kid. Like, it's first person, so it's the kid's view walking into this cave, and it's just like, kid, don't go in there. But he's hearing voices, and he's hearing like this alluring voice, and it turns out to be Abigail, and she jumps him, and it's fucking terrifying. It sucks. But it was very cool. I was not expecting it to be as good as it was, dealing with that whole cheesy trailer with showing the audience's reactions. But it was good, and unfortunately, it did have a very limited theatrical release. I don't know why. I'm pretty sure it's going to end up streaming sooner or later, but I wish it would have been in more theaters because I think people would have genuinely liked it. It was just about as original and good as that Joe and Stiggs movie. I mean, it was just completely out of left field. Very cool, style of cinematography and a cool way to do a possession movie, like how that did a alien invasion movie, and that wasn't found footage because it was all meant to be from their point of view. This same thing is not found footage. It's just from the kids' point of view. Not even their other actors. It's only when it's the kids that they show that point of view style of filming, and it's just phenomenal. It got under my skin, hands down. It was awesome. Yeah, I definitely suggest to check it out if you can. Traumatika. It's probably going to be streaming, like I said, sooner or later, but I don't know. I haven't heard anything on where it's going to be streaming or if it's going to be getting a better theatrical or international release. But definitely look out for it. Traumatika. It was phenomenal. Definitely a 10 out of 10 of a horror movie for 2025 for me. Weapons, I would still say is the best. Weapons really had you going all the way through, but this one is a real good second coming contender. So yeah, this has been Ghost and Craig. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.